Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Now, if you're a football lover, you already know the FIFA World Cup isn't just some sports competition. I mean, it is a full-blown global psychological phenomenon that literally marks the chapters of our lives. Today, we're going to track exactly how this event transformed from a really grueling invitational tournament into the absolute pinnacle of global sports, completely defined by its structural evolution and, of course, raw human emotion.
To really understand the psychological grip this tournament has on the world, we have to start with the raw emotion it generates. Picture this. It's 1950. A 9-year-old boy named Edson Arantes do Nascimento is watching his father literally weep in despair because Brazil just lost the title to Uruguay. Well, that boy, who we all know as Pelé, made his dad a promise. And just 8 years later, a 17-year-old Pelé completely fulfilled it. He scored an absolutely outstanding goal in the 1958 final to propel Brazil to victory over Sweden. That right there, that generational trauma transformed into ultimate triumph, that is the absolute lifeblood of this tournament.
And man, that individual passion has exploded on an unimaginable global scale. 5 billion. Let that number sink in for a second. According to our data, that's the estimated number of people who engaged with the 2022 World Cup. That is well over half the global population. We're talking roughly 1.5 billion people tuning in just to watch the final match alone. It completely cements the World Cup as the undisputed, most watched, and most followed sporting event on the planet. No contest. So how do we get to 5 billion hearts? Let's dive into the timeline and see exactly how the structure evolved. Back in 1930, the inaugural tournament in Uruguay featured just 13 teams. Between the Great Depression and the grueling multi-week boat trip across the Atlantic, only 4 European nations actually made the journey. But as aviation and broadcasting grew, the game spread like wildfire. The format expanded to 24 teams in 1982 and then to 32 teams in 1998. And this wasn't just about packing in more matches. It was a really deliberate push for globalization, actively opening the doors for African and Asian nations who truly deserved their place on the world stage. And looking ahead to 2026, we're leaping to a massive 48-team format.
Now, the absolute crucial point of the modern 32-team format we've known since 1998 is survival in the group stages. Get this, there are 729 possible final table outcomes in a single group. Teams have to navigate a brutal set of tie-breaking criteria. First, it's points, then goal difference, then goals scored. If they're still deadlocked, it comes down to head-to-head records. And if you can believe it, fair play points, meaning the sheer psychological strain of taking a yellow or red card can actually eliminate your entire nation. It's an unforgiving mathematical gauntlet just to reach the knockout rounds.
All right, let's move into Section 1, Captains and Iconic Moments.
You know, the World Cup's history is essentially carried on the shoulders of its legendary leaders. These are the players who step up when the structural pressure of the tournament is just boiling over. It's an incredibly exclusive club. From Uruguay's Jose Nazazi back in 1930 to England's Bobby Moore in 1966, all the way up to Lionel Messi in 2022, these are the men who have lifted the ultimate prize. But here is a truly stunning fact from the archives. In the illustrious history of the World Cup, no captain has ever won the trophy twice. Not one. It's a crazy testament to how fleeting and impossibly difficult this tournament is to conquer.
And these captains and players, they're the ones who author the tournament's most indelible memories. Think about 1982. Italy's Marco Tardelli unleashed what we now famously call the Tardelli scream. Just a pure, tearful, primal release of joy after scoring in the final. He later called it the realization of a childhood dream. And then 4 years later in 1986, Argentina's Diego Maradona completely dominated the entire tournament. In one single quarterfinal match against England, he delivered the highly controversial Hand of God goal, and then immediately followed it up by dancing through the entire English defense for the goal of the century at the Azteca Stadium. Absolutely legendary.
But sometimes, that immense psychological pressure just shatters a player. Take the 2006 final. French captain Zinedine Zidane was playing the absolute final match of his entire career. He started it by audaciously chipping an outrageous Panenka penalty off the crossbar to take the lead. It was brilliant. But then, in the 110th minute of extra time, his career ended in a tragic red card exit after a shocking headbutt to the chest of Italy's Marco Materazzi. Zidane literally had to walk past the glittering trophy and down the tunnel in one of the most jaw-dropping moments in television history.
Then contrast that with the agonizing tension of the 2014 final between Germany and Argentina. It was deadlocked for nearly 2 hours. But that tension was shattered in the 113th minute by a 22-year-old German super sub named Mario Götze.
He controlled the ball in his chest and just volleyed it home with his left boot. That single strike cemented its place in German sporting folklore forever. And get this, that very left boot was later auctioned off for a children's charity, selling for an incredible €2 million. Unbelievable.
Okay, jumping to Section 2, the goal-scoring kings. At the end of the day, navigating the group stages and surviving the knockout rounds relies entirely on one thing: the art of scoring. And the quest for World Cup immortality here is ruthless. For years, Brazil's phenomenal striker Ronaldo held the all-time record with 15 goals. But Germany's clinical target man Miroslav Klose relentlessly hunted that record down across 4 separate World Cups. And the way he broke it? In one of the most shocking results in football history. Germany's 7-1 semifinal rout of host Brazil in 2014, Klose slotted home his 16th goal. He literally took the record from the Brazilian icon right in front of the despairing Brazilian fans at the Estadio Mineirão. Just brutal. Which brings us to Section 3, Tactical Mastery and 2022. Conquering today's grueling 32-team format requires deep tactical evolution. The physical and psychological demands have never been higher, and if you look at the data analysis of Argentina's 2022 championship campaign, it reveals something really fascinating. Their victory wasn't just about having the best player on the pitch. It was an absolute masterclass in structural management. The data shows how Argentina systematically created offensive ability exactly when they needed it, deliberately limited the skill of their opponents through intense pressing, and expertly managed the flow of the game to navigate the suffocating pressure of knockout football. And all of that intense tactical discipline culminated in the completely cathartic climax of the 2022 final. I mean, it was a match that truly changed history. Argentina had to somehow survive an astonishing hat trick from France's Kylian Mbappe, who ended up winning the Golden Boot. But after a nerve-shredding penalty shootout, Lionel Messi finally kissed and hoisted the one trophy that had eluded him his entire career. In doing so, he brought the World Cup back to South America for the first time since Brazil's victory all the way back in 2002. It finally closed a massive 20-year gap that had been completely dominated by European teams.
So, what does this all mean for the future of the beautiful game? Well, in 2026, hosted across Canada, Mexico, and the United States, we're going to see the format expand to 48 teams featuring an incredible 104 matches. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought here. As the World Cup achieves its ultimate global footprint, will this massive expansion kind of dilute the concentrated magic of the tournament? Or is it going to open the door to crown an entirely unexpected new king of football? Think about that for a bit. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the epic evolution of the World Cup. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.